Good morning students. So we were discussing our CBSE sample paper and now today we will discuss section B, that is question number 17. Why did Gandhiji start non-cooperation movement? Explain. So in this we have to write, so this is since students 3-mark question, so 3 marks, for 3 marks 3 points are mandatory and compulsory to write. So in this you will write students that after returning from Africa in 1915, Gandhiji launched some local satyagraha, but he was looking for an opportunity to launch a nationwide or national level movement against the Britishers. So in this way you will write the first point. You will give the importance of here satyagraha which was launched by Gandhiji, that he when he came back he launched certain local satyagraha, but he was looking for some opportunity to launch a national level movement against the British. Second point, you will write students, the non-cooperation movement was launched by Gandhiji to support the Khilafat movement. And then third, you will write it was also launched against the Rowlatt Act 1919 and the Jallianwala Bagh incident also occurred in the same year 1919. Fourth, you can write students, Gandhiji merged the Khilafat movement with the non-cooperation movement to bring Muslims under the umbrella of the unified national movement, because Gandhiji believed that we will not be able to succeed, we will not be able to attain the independence or freedom unless and until we all fight together. We should be unified under one umbrella of our freedom struggle or unified umbrella of national movement. So now students, question number 18, the 3 marks question number 18 here. So if you see the internal choices there students in question number 18, so you can attempt either, and it is from your chapter number 1, Rise of Nationalism in Europe. So here the question is, student, explain the measures and practices introduced by French revolutionaries to create a sense of collective identity among the French people. So this is the question. So here the question can be describe any 5 measures introduced by French revolutionaries to create a sense of collective identity among the French people, or what was the major changes that occurred in the political and constitutional scenario due to French Revolution in Europe. Analyze the measure or practices which create a sense of collective identity among the French people. So in either ways the question can be asked, but the content you have to write is same students. Here you have to give the 5 points, and in that you will say the first clear-cut expression of nationalism came in France with the French Revolution in 1789. French Revolution then led to the transfer of sovereignty from monarchy to a body of active French citizens. Then you will write the first point, so this brief introduction give. Then write the first point, the introduction of la patrie, that is the fatherland, and les citoyens, the citizen. Emphasize the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. So this idea was promoted that France is our fatherland and we are citizens of France. So la patrie and les citoyens, and underline these words please. Then second, you can write point students, a new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former royal standard. So new tricolor they have chosen. Then the state journals was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. Then new hymns were composed, oaths taken, mitres commemorated, all in the name of the nation. And then last point you can write that regional dialects were discouraged and France or the French was declared as a common language of the France. So this way you have to write these 5 points. Then after that, now students, the internal choice, the other part, like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation. So in this it can be asked, the question can be asked in either forms, like explain the political situation of Italy before its unification, give a brief account of political fragmentation of Italy. So in these forms also the question can be asked, so the content will be same. So like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation. You know, Italians were scattered over several dynastic states as well as multinational Habsburg Empire. Then you will write students, during the middle of the 19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states, of which one was only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was ruled by Italian princely houses, and on all other states the outsiders were ruling, and only one Italian state was there, Sardinia Piedmont, on which the Italian rulers were ruling. The north was under the Austrian Habsburg Empire, if you see, and the center was being ruled by Pope, and the southern being ruled by the Bourbon kings of Spain. Even the Italian language had not acquired one common form. So due to this much variation, the Italian language had also not acquired one common form, and it still had many regional and local variations. So in this way, you can mention here Giuseppe Mazzini also. Okay, you can mention here Victor Emmanuel II, that Italy was unified in 1961 and Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed King of United Italy. Giuseppe Mazzini, you can mention here that he has sought to put together a coherent program for the unitary Italian Republic. You can mention here Cavour also, Garibaldi also, their contribution 1 points also you can write here. So after this, now students, question 19, suggest and explain any 3 ways to protect land from degradation in many states of India. So this you can write very easily, the points which are given to you. If you can see afforestation, you can write. After that you can write very easily proper management of grazing. So in this way you can write the planting of shelter belts, stabilization of sand dunes, control of mining activities, then proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents, and waste after treatment. So these points you can mention. You can define here land degradation, that it is a process through which the land becomes unfit for the cultivation. So now they have asked you, means just and explain any 3 ways to protect land. So the steps which can be undertaken to control the land degradation: mining activities need to be carefully monitored, government needs to check illegal mining, then proper treatment of industrial waste, this can reduce land degradation, judicious use of chemicals and fertilizers is the need of the hour, as overuse of these leads to land degradation, and the best way to conserve soil is to increase the area under forests. So you can write afforestation, indiscriminate falling of trees should be stopped, means we should reduce deforestation, and efforts should be made to plant more and more trees in the new areas. So in this way you can attempt very easily. This is a journal question in 3 marks. Then after this, students, question number 20, if you can see, in question number 20 again the internal choice is there, and this question is from your political science chapter 2, federalism. Describe any 3 steps taken by government towards decentralization in the year 1992. So here easily you can write the steps which were undertaken. Like here it is written, the reservation of seats in the elected bodies, reservation of at least 1/3 of the for the position of women, then creation of the independent institution, state election commission. Then after that, state governments are required to share some power and revenue with the local government. So this question can be easily attempted in 3 marks, and means this question can also be asked in the form that state any 2 difference between the local government before and after the constitutional amendments in 1992. But here they are asking you that what steps were taken towards decentralization in the year 1992. So here you can easily write about these points, means easily you can elaborate these points, like what were the steps taken. So means it is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to the local government body, then seats are reserved in the elected bodies and the executive heads of these institutions for SC, ST and backward classes. At least 1/3 of all positions are reserved for women. An independent institution called the State Election Commission has been created in each state to conduct free and fair elections for panchayat and municipalities. Then the state governments are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies, and the nature of sharing it will vary from state to state. So in this way you can easily attempt this question. Then the other is describe the federal features of Indian democracy. So here also you can easily describe or elaborate the federal features of the Indian democracy. Here also you can easily write these points like division of powers, so you can elaborate this also. Then after that, three list you can mention here very easily. You can mention here the three list. Then after that, residuary subjects, then control of the union territories with center. So I mean 3 points you have to explain. Okay, so many points are there. Division of powers is there, three-tier system, not equal powers to all administrative units, consent of both the levels of the government, jurisdiction, separate sources of power. So you can elaborate any 3 points of your choice. Like division of power, if you will say, then what you will explain in this, please underline the bold headings and then start explaining. So the constitution demarcates the powers of the central and the state government into the three list. So here you can tell about the three list: union list, state list, and concurrent list. You can explain them in, you can give them the examples of each list. So like this you can elaborate this point. Then three-tier system. So under a federal government, different tiers of the government govern the same citizens, and this is true for India also. In India we have a three-tier system of government: union government, state government, local self-government. Then not equal powers to all the administrative units. So most of the federations that are formed by holding together do not give equal powers. Like some states, they do not have identical powers. Means if you say the union territories, they are under the control of the union government, and many provisions of the Indian constitutions, they are not applicable to certain states. Then consent of both the levels of the government. So under a federal government, the fundamental provisions cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of the government, and same is true for India. The parliament cannot on its own change the fundamental structure of the constitution. Then jurisdiction, you can write, in a federation the judiciary plays a very important role in overseeing the implementation of the constitutional provisions and procedures. So for India also, in case of any dispute about the decisions of the powers, the High Court and the Supreme Court, they can take the decision. Then separate, you can write about the separate sources of income. That regarding financial powers also, the special, it is mentioned, the center and state has been made in the Indian constitution. A special means a clear cut mention regarding the financial powers has been made in the Indian constitution. Income tax, excise duty, corporation tax are levied, collected by the central government, whereas land revenue, stamp duty, building tax, they came under the state government. So in this way you can easily attempt this question. Students, coming to question number 21. So this is from your economics. So this question is from your economics, and this is chapter money and credit. So this is your chapter money and credit. Then after this, students, in this they have asked you, in this question they have asked you, imagine yourself to be XYZ, a member of the women's self-help group. Analyze the ways through which your group provides loans to the members. So here they are asking you simply to explain the self-help groups. So you can easily write the points that typical self-help groups, they can have 15 to 20 members, usually belonging to the same village. So 15 to 20 members can be there in a self-help group, and they belong to same village. And the main motive of self-help group is to pool the savings of the poor people. Then saving per member, it can vary from 25 to rupees 100 or more, depending upon the ability of the people and strength of the group. Then self-help group, they provide loans to their members at a very reasonable rate. After a year or two, or if the group is regular in saving, it becomes eligible for the bank loan. So you can write this. Then next point, you can write, loan is sanctioned in the name of the group with the main motive to create self-employment opportunities. Then in the recent years, many commercial and cooperative banks have provided loans to these self-help groups for releasing mortgage, land, for meeting working capital needs, for housing material, for acquiring assets like sewing machines, handlooms, kettles. And the most important feature of the self-help group is that most of these groups are being organized by the women. So here mostly the women play the very important role. So these are helping women to become financially self-reliant also. And the regular meeting of these groups provide a platform to discuss and act on variety of social issues such as health, dowry, domestic violence, child marriage. So like this you can answer means these points, so many points you can write. That self-help groups, they pool their savings. A typical self-help group has 15 to 20 members. Savings per member varies from 25 to 100. Members can take small loans from the group itself to meet their needs, and the group charges the interest on these loans, but it is still less than what the money lender charges. And after a year or two, if group is regular in savings, it becomes eligible for availing loan from the bank. So in this way you can easily explain these points. Now the next is question number 22. The issue of sustainability is important for development. Examine the statement. So here you can write about sustainable development, that it is the development of the country or world not only at present, but the development which is to be continued and maintained for the future generations. Like for example, the groundwater, it is a natural resource which is replenished by nature, and the people of a particular generation must use water in such a way that people of future generation may also be able to use the groundwater. So people should not overuse and degrade the quality of water so that water is exhausted, or if it remains, it is contaminated to such an extent that it becomes unusable for the people of future generation. Then you can write that sustainable development aims at fulfilling the needs of today but without compromising the needs of the future. Consequences of the environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries. So this is the issue no longer which is a regional or national issue. So sustainability is the capability to use the resources judiciously and maintain the environmental balance. It lay emphasis on environmental protection and check the environmental degradation. So students, our future is linked together. Sustainability of development is essential for all the mankind. It is our common responsibility to save the environment. So these days it is a matter of discussion among different countries of the world. Global warming, acid rain, they are not to be controlled by one nation. It is a global matter of thinking and finding the solution. So in this way you can easily attempt.